So Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are supposed to be having their big national convention coming up in Chicago. And we've all been wondering, like, yo, where's Kamala? What's the policy? What's she talking about? Matter of fact, how come she can't do what she's talking about right now, this second? I'm kind of confused, but apparently there has been and there is a inflection of migrant concerns coming up in Chicago about the Democratic convention. So let's tune into the video and see what's going on here in these Chicago streets.
Terrence and Dawn, we are now hearing that city officials who were recently anticipating several thousand migrants next week are not anticipating a significant number any longer. But that doesn't mean they aren't gearing up for it. In the event of a migrant surge during the DNC, city officials say they will be ready. There are currently more than 5,000 available beds across citywide migrant shelters, but only time will tell if and when they will be filled. A city spokesperson tells us they have a strategic plan in place to prepare for any sudden increases in new arrivals. Writing, the city is maintaining sufficient bed capacity in our existing temporary shelters and preparing sites in the event that new temporary emergency shelters will need to be activated on short notice. Over the last...
That's good to know. Over 5,000 beds. So about, 5,000, a good 5,000 people could come in there and sleep in there, and if they really wanted to, in Chicago. They have spent so much money on the migrant crisis in Chicago, New York, Denver, and even California, trying to house all these migrants because they don't want them out there on the streets. It's starting to get a little chilly outside. August is almost over, so they better get inside because it's gonna start getting cold again, and they're gonna start complaining about it's freezing outside, but you still wearing flip-flops. Listen, I don't care what anybody says. We need immigration. We need migrants. We need people to come into the United States of America. This land is built off of people coming into the United States of America. So to deny people that want to come here a chance to get here is just absolutely wild. It's absolutely wild. But we should take the proper steps, and it looks like they have it under control now in Chicago because it's not as much people coming in as it was a couple months ago, for sure. Like a couple months ago, the border was packed with people, refugees, people trying to escape from war, people trying to escape from their communist countries. Low-key, America is starting to turn into one too, but let's continue.
Several months, the city has closed many of its temporary shelters. Still, there are about 5,500 migrants living across 17 city-run locations. One of those shelters is at Walnut and Paulina. On Tuesday morning, near West Side residents and business owners called on Mayor Brandon Johnson to shut it down by the end of next month.
Every day there is chaos, crime, and danger.
They say there has been a spike in 911 calls due to increased drug activity, street fighting, and loitering.
Here in my hand is a list of 400 calls to 911.
The owners of Happy Tails and Trails and Cake Chicago say they are losing customers.
I have personally seen drug deals go down.
There's glass everywhere. Some of these kids are barefoot. They need better conditions because it's not fair to them as well as ourselves.
And I agree 100%. People should not be outside of your community, outside of in front of your business, selling drugs, wearing flip-flops, and honestly, it's just not safe. It's not good for the community. That's not the look that these people are trying to have. I say clean it up too. If you can't get it under control, if you can't get it under a very organized situation, why do it in the first place? If you didn't have a plan, People cannot be out there selling their souls, selling their bodies, selling drugs to the people of Chicago just because they came to America. They cannot do that. Laws are still laws, crime is still crime, and it is not fair for the people who have been here, who are working, who are hardworking citizens, who are trying to live their everyday life, to come outside and go buy a donut from the donut shop. They shouldn't be having to pass through drug deals for them to do that. I think that is absolutely chaotic. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts about this down in the comments below. Chicago and the migrant crisis, it's looking like it's a little bit more under control. Crime is still heavy over there in Chicago, of course, and they're trying to sell a lot of drugs on the street. So I'd really like to know your thoughts about these migrants that they're complaining about in Chicago. It's your boy Dgotsauce, man. Until next time, hit that like button on your way out. Hit that subscribe button too. Peace.